Good Tuesday evening, everybody. I am Mac, and I am back with another video. As always, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, follow on Instagram, link in the box below. And these are my Week 5 picks of the 2023 NFL season. And first of all, yeah, by the way that I'm talking in this video, you can tell I ain't in a good mood right now because of two reasons. Number one, I just watched Mike Tomlin's press conference, if you even want to call it that, and it was beyond any doubt the worst press conference I have ever seen in my life. And what do I mean by that? Like, is it the worst Mike Tomlin press conference of all time? Oh, undeniably, but that's not the point. My point is that was the worst fucking press conference I've ever seen in my life by anybody. And number two, I just recorded my pregame that I wanted to have up by Thursday. So yeah, excuse me for being a little steamed up because I don't tolerate liars and I don't tolerate BSers who make empty promises about stuff that blatantly need to be fixed. Okay? So there's that. So hopefully my Week 5 picks can calm me down a little bit because I had a great Week 4, 13-3 in Week 4, an unbelievable week. I would have gone 12-4, but I made the switch from Cleveland to Baltimore when I heard that Deshaun Watson would not be playing on Sunday's game, so that saved me a dub right there. But still, 13-3, great week. As again, gonna try to keep this as short as I possibly can. Of course, we got 4 teams on the bye this week. We got the Browns, the Buccaneers, the Chargers, and the Seahawks all on the bye for this week. So only 14 games this week. It should be shorter. Let's not waste any time. These are my Week 5 picks of the 2023 season. Well, congratulations, Chicago Bears, for the second week in a row. Yins, guys, are my toilet bowl of the week because you're on Thursday Night Football against the Washington Commanders. I mean, there was another matchup that was real close to being my toilet bowl of the week, but as I said back in like Week 2, I believe, primetime games take precedence over regular games, and that's what lands this one. The Bears are 0-4 as they just continue to be just completely inept. They were up 28-7 on the Denver Broncos. They blow it and they lose to them. And the Washington Commanders, surprisingly, are 2-2, but they were right there with Philly the entire game last Sunday until the Eagles just came back and they beat them. So Washington continues to play Philly tough for whatever reason that is. I don't know if it's just division familiarity or if the Commanders are just that team that Philly just always has a tough go-by with. But regardless, for this game, Sam Howell looks like he has potential to be a really good starter in this league, and it looks like I was wrong about him. And Washington, if they can get their defense patched up a little bit, I really think they can be in the playoff picture come the end of the season. The Bears, they are just completely miserable on all aspects. Even when Justin Fields has a rare good game, the Bears just keep letting themselves down in any way feasible way. So for this one, I'm going to go ahead and take Washington just because I think they're the better team and I think they have more firepower on the offense than the Bears do. Not that the Bears can't put points up on the board, but their defense is going to cost them this game on Thursday night. So I'm going to go with the Commanders to improve to 3-2. Then we got the second London game as we got the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are now the visitors for this one, I guess you can say, even though it's on a neutral site, taking on the Buffalo Bills. And I'm going to say this right now, the Jaguars have a huge advantage in this game. Why is that? Well, because they have now been in London for a full week. They're coming off a win, yeah, but they're acclimated to London now, and they have a great track record of playing in London in general. I think they're 5-5 all-time in London games, and as you may predict, they have played the most London games out of any other team in the NFL. So there's that. Jacksonville has a big advantage in this game, while the Bills are flying over from Buffalo to London. So that puts Buffalo at a little bit of a disadvantage. And other things going for the Bills in this one is that White is out for the season with an Achilles injury, so I think that'll probably open up the door for Devon Miller. So the Bills, I mean, they got some things going against them with this one, but I really don't think it matters all that much, even though this is absolutely an upset waiting to happen. I'm still going to roll with the Buffalo Bills on this one, just because I think they're the better overall team. They clobbered the Dolphins on Sunday 48-20. So, hey, maybe I'm looking wrong about the Dolphins so far, saying that they can trump the Bills in the AFC East, because Josh Allen just always seems to have his way with the Dolphins. So, yeah, Buffalo, they just keep pouring it on. They are a very well-oiled machine offensively. So I think it can continue, because Jacksonville, while they are a solid squad, all things considered, I really don't think they're quite there yet to hang up with the big boys in the AFC. So I think Jacksonville will give them a good game, and I'm definitely on upset watch for this game. But I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills, because I just think that they're the better team overall, despite Jacksonville having a big advantage in this one. So give me the Bills to beat the Jaguars. Then for the regularly scheduled Sunday afternoon games, first up we got the Houston Texans at the Atlanta Falcons. This one is in Atlanta. As, well, we all know what the Texans did to us last Sunday. They made a complete mockery out of the most expensive defense in the league. C.J. Stroud lit us up. Their sophomore wide receiver lit us up. Tank Dell lit us up. Basically, the Texans just took us to the woodshed, and they just completely and utterly dominated us. And this is the second straight win the Texans have had in as many weeks. And they're feeling pretty good about themselves, sitting at 2-2. And if you're a Texans fan, you should feel good, because they have shown potential now, especially with C.J. Stroud. DeMeco Ryans, with him being a rookie head coach, I think he is the head coach for the Texans moving forward right now. I think he's working real well with this young nucleus of players that the Texans have. And then you got to take a look at the Atlanta Falcons. I can sit down here and do the whole cliche of, well, they're flying back from London, they got to deal with jet lag, but it goes deeper than that. The Falcons have issues that rely on their offense, and Desmond Ridder just is not making the cut for Atlanta so far. They're a stingy defensive team, and I think that'll keep them in this game. And I think Bijan Robinson is a really good bright spot for that offense that Atlanta has. But I just take a look at this Falcons team, and like I said, I think their 2-0 start was a little bit of fake news, because now they're going up against teams that can put points up on the board. And the Texans have definitely been that team, as they scored 67 points in 2 weeks. So I'm going to go with the Houston Texans to keep on rolling, win their third straight, and they could potentially be leading the AFC South by the time Week 5 is over with. Would you have ever guessed that the Texans could be leading this division? But, it kind of seems like they're earning it right now. I'm going to go with Houston to get the job done over Atlanta. Then we got the Carolina Panthers and the Detroit Lions. This one is in Ford Field. The Panthers are also 0-4, losing at home to the Vikings. The Lions are 3-1, coming off a dominant performance against the Packers last Thursday night. And if you've heard my picks videos for the past couple of weeks, you probably know where I'm going with this one. Detroit is my lock of the week right here, simply due to the fact that A, I just think they're the better team. B, they played last Thursday, so they get those extra days of rest factor right there. Typically in situations like that, I go with the team that played Thursday. And finally, I don't think Bryce Young is going to play in this game. So, like, the question for the Panthers really is, do they go with Andy Dalton? Because when Andy Dalton was playing some reps for Carolina, they were getting some continuity as far as the offense goes. So, there's really no reason for them to tank because Bryce Young was what they got in return in that trade with the Bears with DJ Moore. So there's really no reason for Carolina to tank. They're just a bad team. So that's why Detroit's my lock of the week. They ran the ball very efficiently. They have a tough, stingy defense. Jared Goff played really well. Their receivers are getting the job done, especially Amon-Ra St. Brown. And Dan Campbell just always has this team fighting. This Detroit team is a real fun team to watch. And I think they improved to 4-1. So give me the Lions easily over the Panthers. Little bit of a tricky one right here is an AFC South showdown between the Tennessee Titans and the Indianapolis Colts. On one hand, the Titans dominated the Cincinnati Bengals, and I mean it wasn't even close. 27-3, Derrick Henry went off against the Bengals. So Tennessee's back to 500. Looks like that they're doing okay, for a team that had lost 8 straight games or 7 straight games, whatever it was, going into the season. But then you got to take a look at the Indianapolis Colts. Anthony Richardson played last week, his first game since clearing concussion protocol, and he played really well. That game went to overtime against the Rams. The Colts fought hard and long, trailing 23-0 to the Rams. But a couple of takeaways from here. Number one, Tennessee has won 5 straight over the Colts. So I think that's a big factor right there. But at the same time, the Titans also have a really bad, offensive line, easily one of the worst in the league. And I really don't trust their pass defense and their rush defense against an offense like that the Colts have, to where they can pound you on the ground, and Anthony Richardson's developing confidence as the weeks go by. And I really do think that he is the answer that the Colts have been looking for at quarterback. Not really saying the Colts are that kind of defensive team that's going to rough you up and they're going to punch you in the mouth. But at the same time, Tennessee, they're just not an offensive firework display like the Rams are. I mean, the Rams, they're a team that can put points up on the board. Tennessee, they can do it, but only if, like, Derrick Henry and it just goes off and they get good production from whoever starts a quarterback for them. So this one was a little indecisive for me, so I'm just going to go with my traditional when in doubt, go home team. So I'm going to go with the Colts on this one. I think Anthony Richardson's playing real well. I think Indianapolis, they have some momentum despite losing a tough one to the Rams in overtime. And overall, I just really don't trust Tennessee a whole lot. So I'm going to go with the Colts to finally pick up a home dub. I think they're just due for a home win in general. I'm going to go with the Colts on this one. Then we got another pretty easy one. We got the New York Giants going down to Miami to play the Dolphins. What in the hell is going on with the Giants? They haven't been just losing games. They have been getting dominated, especially at home. The Giants have been outscored at home, I shit you not, 64-3. They lost 24-3 on Monday night to Seattle, a game in which Daniel Jones got sacked 11 times. The special teams was hideous, and they just couldn't get anything going. Not like Seattle is like a super physical team or anything, but that Giants O-line is just deplorable. Saquon Barkley's status for this game is up in the air, but I really don't think it makes a difference if Saquon's going to play or not, because their opponent, the Dolphins, they're coming off getting waxed themselves by the Bills. But the Dolphins are heading home. They got a fresh, clean slate. They see how sloppy the Giants are playing. I would not be surprised if Miami puts at least 40 on the Giants. I mean, this is one of the easier picks for me this week, as it should be for everybody else. I think the Dolphins are going to come in with a chip on their shoulder. They're going to play pissed off. And I think they get the job done over the Giants here. to keep pace with the Buffalo Bills in the AFC East. I like the Dolphins easily in this one. Give me Miami. Another little bit of a challenging one as we got the New Orleans Saints heading to Foxborough to play the Patriots, as the Saints have dropped 2 straight games. They are 2-2 on the season, losing to the Tampa Bay Bucks last week, while the Patriots are 1-3. They got absolutely murdered by the Cowboys in Dallas, 38-3. So, couple of things for this one. I don't like that Derek Carr is banged up in this game, because obviously he gives the Saints the best chance at winning, because he's looking like he's going to be the long-term answer for the Saints, or for at least like the next half decade or so. So I don't like that he's banged up. But also you got to take a look at the Patriots. Their strength is their defense, and they're undermanned heavily coming into this game. Mainly Gonzalez and Matthew Judon, I think, are both injured. So I think this is going to open up the door here for Chris Olave. And I think that chemistry with Derek Carr and Chris Olave is going to, click for this one. But also, the Saints got Alvin Kamara coming back for this game. There was speculation that he could have played against Tampa Bay, but now his suspension is officially over with, and Alvin Kamara is the catalyst as far as this Saints offense goes. So I think him being back is going to be a big confidence booster for the New Orleans Saints. The Saints defense, as I keep pushing the issue with, well, maybe not push the issue, but the Saints have a really physical defense, even though they haven't looked great for the last 5 quarters that they've played in. But you still can't underestimate the Saints. And then the Patriots, Mac Jones is just not the guy. There's just some kids who play quarterback, and they either have it or they don't, and Mac Jones just don't have it for me. He's not a Bill Belichick type of quarterback. He's a check down artist. He's very indecisive with the ball. He don't take very good care of it, and he just makes a lot of poor decisions. He's not a pocket passer that like everyone's hyping him up, that everyone has said he's going to be. So, little bit of a close call, but I think I'm going to go with the New Orleans Saints on this one, simply because I think they're healthier than the Patriots are, and I think that Derek Carr connecting with Chris Olave and Alvin Kamara coming back, I think that's going to take a lot of pressure off of the Saints, because knowing how the Patriots are undermanned on defense coming in this game, I think that's going to, like I said, I think it's going to take pressure off of the Saints. So I'm going to go New Orleans to snap their losing streak here, get back to over 500, and the Patriots' woes just continue. I'm going to go with the New Orleans Saints. Now we got my matchup. One of the best rivalries in the NFL. This was almost my rivalry of the week. But after seeing what happened with us, I kind of came to the conclusion that the rivalry of the week should be a matchup between 2 fierce rivals, not a fierce rival and a clown show. But you got the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers going at it. Actually, you know what? I apologize. Let me translate that for Mike Tomlin, okay? Give me an S. Give me a T. Give me an E. Give me another E. Give me an L. Give me an E. Give me an R. Give me an S. What's that spell? That's right, because our head coach is a cheerleader. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the Pittsburgh Steelers are the only team in the NFL that does not have cheerleaders. Guess what? That's false. Because we've had a cheerleader on the sidelines acting like a head coach for the past 17 years. You know, I got to say something about Tomlin, all right? And tune into my postgame, because this is pretty much just echoing what I've been saying about Tomlin, okay? But here's the thing about Mike Tomlin with me, okay? Technically, I've been done with Mike Tomlin after that debacle of a wild card game against the Cleveland Browns in January of 2021. That severely damaged my thoughts on Mike Tomlin. But then last year, this was a team that had no business being competitive whatsoever, and we barely missed the playoffs. And I'm like, hey, I don't love that. I'm sick of these 9-8 records. But you got a young team that just needs development, and Mike Tomlin might be the coach going forward. So that revived a little bit of faith. But I'm telling you right now, this past Sunday broke me completely and for good with Mike Tomlin. And it's never going to be repaired. You get blown out by a Texans team who is rebuilding. Yes, they're on the rise and they're feeling good about themselves, and I gave them a ton of credit. But when you look at it as a whole, they're rebuilding. They were down 5 linemen in the game, and this was the team that led the league in sacks going in the game. They didn't register a single sack on a rookie quarterback in C.J. Stroud, okay? And Tomlin, a top 5 coach in the league, gets out-coached by a rookie head coach in DeMeco Ryans. And you want to say that this guy's the 3rd best head coach in the league behind Andy Reid and Bill Belichick? In my opinion, Tomlin's barely top 15 when it comes to coaches. That game broke me completely with Tomlin. No one should take anything seriously that this guy says. If you've seen one Tomlin press conference, you've seen them all. It's the same thing. He recaps the game, and then he just babbles on endlessly for hours or minutes or whatever, saying absolute nonsense and deflects every single question that every reporter throws at him. It's over, Tomlin. It really is. You're the freaking head coach of this team, and you're more concerned about not breaking momentum on offense, because that's why you claim that they didn't QB sneak it on that 4th and 1 that got Kenny Pickett hurt, and thank God he avoided a serious injury. But you claim that you didn't want to break the momentum and the flow that you had on offense. Oh, but you will take chance after chance after chance with Matt Canada, who don't know what the fuck he's doing up there? Make it make sense. This guy cannot be an NFL head coach. He just can't. And isn't it sad that I'm sitting down here bashing my own team, bashing my team's head coach, when I should be bashing their opponent, the Baltimore Ravens, a team that I despise, and every other Steeler fan should. But I think this week I despise Tomlin more. So congratulations with that, Tomlin. You ruined Ravens week for me. Anyway, the Ravens are 3-1. They lead the AFC North. They dominated the Browns 28-3. Lamar Jackson had a solid game. Defense had a solid game. I mean, I don't know what else to say, man. This rush defense is atrocious. This pass defense is even worse. You let a rookie quarterback do all that to you, and I know the Steelers historically have had Lamar Jackson's number. I know Lamar Jackson's played the worst games of his career against the Steelers. But I'm telling you, the Ravens have to be salivating looking at how we played against Houston last Sunday. About this defense. About how we run our so-called offense. Because Tomlin is on the verge, in my opinion, of having his first losing season. And literally, like I said in my video I put out on Monday, my last hope with Mike Tomlin is this. We finish with a losing record, and then he does what Bill Cowher did after 2006, and he's like, I can't win with these guys. It's time to let someone else take control. But that ain't going to happen because Tomlin's too stubborn. And he has way too much power, and he's overstated his welcome in this league. It's pitiful. So are we going to win this game? Sorry, guys. The Steelers don't even trust themselves coming in this one. How can you expect to make changes when Tomlin doesn't even know what changes need to be made? How can you take yourself seriously or how do you expect other teams to take you seriously when you don't even take yourself seriously? So yeah, I am picking the Ravens to win this game. I don't care about Lamar's record against us. I don't care if he's turned the ball over X amount of times against us. It's a different feel to it now. It really is. But I know what the Steelers are going to do, all right? I know what we're going to do. It's going to be a competitive game. It's going to be a low-scoring defensive game like it always is between these two. And then we're going to do something incredibly stupid. Well, Tomlin's going to do something incredibly stupid, and it's going to cost us the game. The Ravens are going to smell blood, and they're going to win the game. That's what's going to happen. And that's pretty much my preview right there, even though I recorded a freaking preview that'll be out bare minimum by Thursday. I try to have them out by Friday, but after I heard that press conference, like, wow. That press conference was just a new level of bad. Baltimore wins this one. I mean, I don't even know what to say. Good job, Steelers. You made me pick against you with the Ravens. Only this fucking team this year can make me do that. It's a trap! Well, thank you, Admiral Akbar, because kicking off the later slate of Sunday afternoon games, we got my trap game of the week right here. Philadelphia Eagles at 4-0. Going to LA to play the Rams, who are 2-2. As the Eagles, they're 4-0. But in my opinion, the Eagles just look off this year. I mean, week one, they were running away with that Patriots game, and then the Patriots made it a game until that last play where the receiver was out of bounds. Week two, they were blowing out Minnesota, but the Vikings made a comeback on Thursday night. Primetime Kirk Cousins, that's alarming enough in itself right there. Week three, they had trouble in week three. I don't remember who they played in week three, but I know they had trouble. They just couldn't find, or Tampa Bay, I'm sorry. Week three, they beat the Buccaneers, but Tampa Bay was in that game a lot more than what people think it was. It was way closer than it was. And then, obviously, last week, they beat Washington, but the Commanders give them a hard time every single game, and they struggled to put away Washington. So yeah, Philly's 4-0. They're 21-1 now in the last 22 starts by Jalen Hurts. So like, yeah, they're getting wins, but they just look off. They just don't look dominant. Then you got the Rams. This was a team that I thought was going to have a top 5 pick in the draft. But the Rams are actually playing pretty well so far. They're 2-2. The offense is clicking on all cylinders right now. And the biggest thing for the Rams, Cooper Kupp is practicing, but his status to play for the game is unknown. But I'll tell you, you pair Cooper Kupp up with Puka Nacua, that Rams offense might be something special. And that's why I say this is my trap game of the week. You know, because like I said, Philly looks off so far. The Rams, they have a lot of good chemistry on that offense right there. And I really think they're going to give the Eagles a hard time as far as, you know, as far as the offense versus the pass defense goes. But I have to keep with the momentum here. I like that, you know, just the Eagles, they have that momentum with Jalen Hurts and they have the confidence with him. Matthew Stafford historically struggles against teams that are above 500 all time. I don't know if this particular Rams team is ready to overcome something like that. So I am going to go with the Eagles, but I'm telling you, this is another game that was on upset watch for me, and it would not surprise me in the very least if the Rams did pull off the upset, but I did make this my trap game of the week. So I'm going to go Philly to go to 5-0, but I got the Rams making this a really good game. As a matter of fact, this is my spread game of the week. I got Philly winning. They're favored by 4.5, but I got the Rams covering. 30-27. Give me Philly to beat the Rams. Next, we got another game that could honestly be another upset watch. Cincinnati Bengals at the Arizona Cardinals. This one is in the desert. The Bengals are 1-3. They got destroyed by the Titans in Nashville. Joe Burrow continues to play awful. You can't keep using the injury excuse with him. When he's on the field, there's no excuse. He's healthy enough to play. He's playing terrible. He's honestly putting like Jamarcus Russell type numbers up there so far to start the season. And for a guy who's supposed to be the highest paid player in NFL history, he's playing like absolute crap. That's all there is to it. Then you got the Cardinals. They're 1-3 as well. But for a team that I thought was going to be the worst team in the NFL this year, Arizona actually looks like a frisky team. I mean, they almost beat Washington in week 1. Week 2, they had that big lead against the Giants until the Giants just finally woke up on offense and they came back and beat the Cardinals. Dominated the Dallas Cowboys in week 3. And even though they lost by almost 20 points to San Francisco, the Cardinals held their own against the 49ers for as much as they could. But, San Francisco's just too good of a team for the Cardinals to be able to stave off. So, yeah, they're 1-3, but Arizona might actually be a little bit better than what people say. I don't really know if you can call them a Caleb Williams sweepstakes team, But Arizona, they're playing with some frisk to them. And that Michael Wilson kid that the Cardinals got, I think he's going to be a stud. I think he has a really high future in this league, and he has a real high ceiling. So, I think something has to give here with one of these teams. It's that the Cardinals are playing frisky and the Bengals are just hungry for a win. There's a part of me that loves that Cincinnati is just struggling. Obviously, as a division rival fan, I love it. But at the same time, it's like this team is just too good to be playing this poorly early on in the season. So even though I really want to pick Arizona for the upset, I am going to go with the Bengals to get the job done here because their weaponry on offense is just too much for this Cardinal team to handle, in my opinion. And I think Cincinnati's just due for a win. I like them defensively as well. So I'm going to go with the Bengals to get the job done here, even though I could absolutely see Arizona upsetting them. Now we got, this was a very close consideration for being my toilet bowl. We got the New York Jets and the Denver Broncos. This one is a mile high. The Jets are 1-3, as they had a pretty controversial loss, in my opinion, Sunday night. They were down early big to Kansas City, but Zach Wilson turned in easily the best game of his career so far. And the Jets honestly could have beaten Kansas City. They rallied back all night. They played tough defense. Mahomes did not look good against the Jets at all. And then the Jets got absolutely hosed by that absolute BS defensive holding call. So the Jets had a very controversial loss, in my opinion. They're 1-3, but you saw the emotion with Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh was pissed off at the officials. And that's the kind of passion that any head coach should have when his team gets hosed like that. So I really do like Robert Saleh. I think that he epitomizes as a good head coach in general. And I think that the Jets, if they just develop an offense more, they could really be a solid team. Denver Broncos, they had that comeback against the Chicago Bears. But if you need to come back to beat a team that's as pathetic as the Chicago Bears, I'm sorry, it doesn't impress me. And I cannot believe that Denver is actually favored for this game. So I'm actually going to make this my upset of the week right here. The Jets defense plays real strong. They hung in there with Mahomes all night on Sunday night. And Denver's offense, aside from a couple of games, just looks very bulimic continuing. I like the Jets defensively. I think that Zach Wilson can turn in another solid game because Denver's just not getting it done with defense. And this was one of the best defenses in the league. So I'm going to go with the New York Jets to snap their losing streak to go to 2-3, drop Denver to 1-4. Then we got the Kansas City Chiefs and the Minnesota Vikings. This one is in Minneapolis. As I just mentioned with the Chiefs, they beat the Jets to improve to 3-1, but that absolute BS defensive holding call saved the Chiefs, in my opinion, from a bad game by Patrick Mahomes where he just looked really off. Turned the ball over a couple of times. I know for sure he threw 2 picks. But the Chiefs, I mean, sometimes you got to win fist fights, and I guess Kansas City's a team that can win a fist fight like that. Minnesota, the Chiefs easily have one, if not the best offense in the league. So, they're 3-1, and they got the benefit of the call against, the Jets. But still, the Chiefs, I mean, you can never count them out offensively. Minnesota, they can put some points on the board easily. They have a high-scoring offense as well. But a big mismatch for this one is Minnesota's defense is just absolutely horrendous. And I think that the Chiefs can easily take advantage of Minnesota's defense right here. I like Kansas City to improve to 4-1 right here. As I mentioned earlier with the Rams, Matthew Stafford doesn't do well against winning teams. Neither does Kirk Cousins. I like Kansas City to improve to 4-1 in this one. I just don't think the Vikings are just that good of a team. Sunday Night Football. Check your local listings, as this is my rivalry of the week right here. Throwing it back to the 90s, throwing it back to the past 2 playoffs. We got the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers going at it in San Francisco. As I said, the 49ers, they ended the Cowboys season twice in a row. 3 times in a row in the playoffs if you want to go back further. But the last 2 seasons, the 49ers have ended the Cowboys season. The Cowboys are 3-1. They're coming off a dominant performance over the Patriots. The 49ers keep it rolling. They're 4-0. And in all 4 of their wins, they've scored at least 30 points. This San Francisco team is just a very well-oiled machine. They know how to put points on the board, and their defense is just going to suffocate you. And I think right off the bat, that is a terrible mismatch right there going up against the Dallas Cowboys. Because the Cowboys, like I said, the past 2 playoffs with them, the 49ers are their worst nightmare when it comes to offense versus defense. The 49ers will both physically beat you up, and they will limit you as well. And with Dallas's offense being one-dimensional so far, outside of a couple of good throws or good series by Dak Prescott that was set up mainly by the Cowboys' defense, I just really think the Cowboys are going to be in for a rude awakening Sunday night because San Francisco is just clicking on all cylinders when it comes to offense. CMC is just on a new level of production with the 49ers, and they live and die by that guy. He is easily the most important player on the 49ers offense. Then you take a look at both defenses. Both defenses are phenomenal, but Trayvon Diggs being injured, or Trayvon Diggs being out for the rest of the season with a torn ACL, that's not good for the Dallas Cowboys because he does give up a lot of big plays, but he's also really good at causing turnovers. So I think that Dallas has to really come through the trenches in this one, while the 49ers, I mean, they just got to keep doing what they do as far as defense goes. They can stop the run. Cowboys are a run-heavy team. They can generate pressure. As Dak Prescott, he has never stricken me as a clutch quarterback or a guy that can handle the pressure well, especially in primetime, unless it's against the Giants or something. So, yeah, the 49ers, I mean, they're just too good. I think they're the best team in the NFL, and I see no reason for them to give me a reason to pick against them. I'm going to go San Francisco to win their 15th consecutive game. Dallas may make it really good in this one, but I just think the 49ers just outclass the Cowboys in just about every category right here. So I am going to go with the 49ers to get the job done over the Dallas Cowboys, as Dallas falls to 3-2. San Francisco improves to 5-0, and that will do it for my rivalry of the week. Wrapping up week 5, we got Monday Night Football, and it is between the Green Bay Packers and the Las Vegas Raiders. This one is at Allegiant Stadium. Green Bay is 2-2. They had a terrible loss against the Detroit Lions on Thursday night, where Jordan Love played real bad. Green Bay's rush defense got shredded like a block of cheese by David Montgomery. And right off the bat, I think that's a big mismatch right there for the Packers, as Josh Jacobs, it seems like he's starting to find his stride a little bit more. And after a really bad start for Josh Jacobs, that's a real big confidence booster for the Raiders, as I don't know who they're rolling with at quarterback for this game, because I think Jimmy G is still in concussion protocol. But regardless, the thing with me with picking this game is that the Raiders' pass defense just continues to be so bad, and Jordan Love has thrown a couple of dimes this season so far. So I think this is definitely a get it right game for Jordan Love right here. Plus, like the Lions, the Packers played Thursday night. They get over 10 days of rest for this game. Of course, they're flying out west, so that's not easy either. But like I said, the team that played Thursday, they get that much rest. I tend to favor the team that played Thursday. So I'm going to go with the Packers to get the job done over Vegas here, simply due to the fact that I just think the Packers have more to offer offensively than Vegas does. And I don't like that Vegas's defense. I just don't trust Vegas's defense. So I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers to get the job done over the Raiders to get back to over 500. That'll do it. Those are my Week 5 picks. And as always, good luck in the tournament. This is Mac checking on out for the night. Have a good one, everybody.